Hello and welcome to the Inventors Academy 2023. Our objective is to give you a program that will deliver you your first transaction so it can fund the rest of your project going forward. Now, there are 5 key principles you need to understand with this. The first is all projects need cash to develop. You need to forget about what you've seen on movies or in Shark Tank. Everybody needs money. Money and ideas equals a project. Next, your first transaction should be able to fund the rest of the project. It may not be enough money, but it will give you enough to get the next transaction and the one after that. And as you start to gain momentum and experience, knowledge, know-how, you'll find that everything will fall into place and it will become a lot easier. Third, everything happens faster if you have a plan. This is irrefutable. We give you a plan, a step-by-step guide. You've also marked out exactly what you want to achieve, and we're taking it down to just one of 4 key areas that we're going to focus on. Next, intellectual property funding works differently than normal funding. If you ever wanted to get your project funded and you go along to a bank or a venture capitalist, they're going to turn you down. The reason why is because they look at your project in the historical value, and you don't have any track record, you don't have any cash flow. Therefore, they don't see you as valuable at all, and they'll discount you 100%. You also have to have a plan for you to get out of the project at a later time. And it's just as important for you as it is for other people you bring into the project, such as your collaborative research partners, your funding partners. Everyone who comes into that project needs to get out. They won't get in if they can't get out. It's as simple as that. Now, how do we deliver this program for you? There are 4 layers. The first layer is the understanding. This is where we give you an online course complete. It's all self-paced learning. It's video-based. It's got lessons with all the checklist templates, everything you need online, ready to go. So you just walk in there, log on anywhere you like, 24/7, and work it at your pace, and so you get a full understanding of the 6 steps of commercialization. Once you've got that, or in the first month, we're going to sit down and plan an ideation and commercial modeling workshop. This is a half-day workshop. It's very intensive. We start out with 240-foot questions, which flows out to well over 300 questions. And in that, we're working on what your current market is, how the channels will work, how the operations are going to work, whether you're going to be manufacturing or toll manufacturing or licensing, etc. We look at pricing and costing to make sure there's enough margin in there for you and for others. We look at the risks, external risks, so they can impact on you that you can't necessarily control, but you need to understand them well enough to be able to show how you're going to mitigate them to other people. And of course, we have to plan the exit for you and for any other party coming on. Once we've got the plan all set, it's the implementation. And we're there right alongside you, making sure you can implement the right way. So you need to secure the first major financial transaction to achieve the independence you need to keep the project sustainable right through from there on. And if you need another one, then you know how to do it from now on. The 4th is the measure. You need to test and measure everything as you go. And that's where we do the planning, the coaching, we do project status review. We're measuring your progress as you go along, and we're also giving you feedback and getting reports from you on a weekly basis to make sure that you are on track and it's delivering as it should. So what is our focus? Well, we teach you and help you to raise capital, know the commercial process inside out, because it's important that you not only know what you're going to be doing, but also what that's going to affect in terms of the other 6 steps. We're going to show you how to complete one transaction, and we're going to walk you through that and make sure that you can do that. We're going to help you secure the cash needs for your project going forward once you've got that one transaction in the bag. And then from then on, the objective for you is self-sufficiency, because if you manage your cash right, you don't need our help that much. You can still carry on, and we can help you if, for instance, your first objective might be a distribution agreement, we'll help you with licensing agreements or get other distribution agreements. It's entirely up to you. We help you with that. So this program is called the Inventors Academy Level 1. Level 1, our objective is your first major cash generating transaction. We're focused in just 4 areas. If you fit these 4 areas, this program is for you. They are funding, your first distribution agreement, your first licensing agreement, or a trade sale of your technology or intellectual property to a third party. So the funding side of it, let me go through that a little bit. We're there to make sure that you can raise capital to deliver your project through early stage, not through the entire program. Entire program might be, you might need to raise $5 to $8 million to get your project completed. That's not us. We're only there to get you to cash flow positive, so then all the options open up for you. It might be still be pre-scale, in which case we bring other parties in to scale your project with you. We'll show you the cornerstone investor model, which we use, which doesn't rely on historical values. It works on leverages, and those leverages are things that you can give to the investor party that don't cost you anything in your project. Next, we're going to get you the project stability and the sustainability that you need, so you don't have to keep going back and hunting and begging, finding high net worth investors, and then begging more cash from them on a continual cycle as you keep running out. If distribution is your first objective, we'd be looking to secure your first distributor for you. That might be some territory, it might be in your city, your state, your country, or a region. Doesn't matter. You set that parameters, and if we can see how it can work, we'll make it work for you. Now, the idea is you get to manufacture your products as you normally would, but somebody else will deliver those products into stores or to the buyers, and they do that on the terms that you can set because they are your distributor. If license is your first objective, and we look at your first licensing agreement. We look at one territory, it might be geographic, it might be demographic. For instance, your territory might be Canada or Brazil. Your demographic might be, I can make this product for cars or for trucks, and I'm going to do both, and I'll have two separate licensees for cars, one for trucks in the territory of Canada or Brazil or wherever you're going to be. So one thing you need to know about licensing is you might do 10 licenses in 12 months, and the cash flow on licenses usually happens in 4 to 5 months, because the first three, we're doing it on 3 months, so they take a little bit of time to ramp up. Sometimes it takes 6 months to start to produce your product, and then from there they're producing for 3 months, and you get a royalty on the end of the third month, and that means that you're going to wait up to 9 months for your money, and meanwhile you've got legal fees. So if you don't do 10 agreements and they are different licensees, it could be $50,000 worth of agreements in place before you actually start getting the money. So we show you how to do that. We help you cater for that, and we'll show you how to offset that with factoring if you need to. If trade sale is your primary objective, and it could be that you've got a great project but you now realize it's way too big for you, or it's outside of your scope of expertise, or alternatively your family or health circumstances have changed and you've decided this has a lot of value, but I need it to go to another home. We will assess that it does have value, and if it does, we will work with you to sell your intellectual property to a third party. Now, the whole idea is we can design a cashless transaction. One of our methods we use is, for instance, we would take your project, we would take all the shares in your company and swap them for a number of shares in the public listed company that we target. That company would, that equivalent value might be whatever you've decided to sell your company for or sell the project for. And at that point there, it's just a script for script rollover. It's a swapping shares for shares. So you haven't actually made a profit. So you're not going to be hit with any sort of profit tax. So this is subject to your own jurisdictions, of course, and I'm not an accountant or a tax agent. I'm not going to tell you anything about your tax consistencies, but there you have it. And you could actually then sell your shares the next day if you wanted to and turn it into cash, but you can also stay on and work with the party to make the project better as a shareholder of the company. You can also build in a carve out. So you might have some nice intellectual property that works really well for you, gives you sustainable competitive advantage in your market, which might be one city or one state, and you've decided you can actually make some money by selling this technology in another state or overseas. And if that were the case, could you get a restriction on your local area? And I've done this before. It works out extremely well for you. It's basically having your cake and eating it too. So how does it all work? Well, this is very heavy, but it's worth focusing on here. Firstly, this is all, the background is online self-paced learning. There's a lot of other stuff in between, including coaching and teaching you IP commercialization skills that you're going to need for this, but for also any other project you ever do. We're also going to do a commercial modeling workshop. That's that $3,000 half-day workshop. It's very intensive, well worth it because it sets your program for the next 6 months. You also get a step-by-step action plan of what you're going to implement, all the resources you need to allocate for that, the budgets, everything, it's all in there. We also do weekly live group coaching calls. So you get online to me. It's Wednesday night in the US. It's Thursday morning in Australia. And you can ask me anything for an hour, hour and a half, depending on how many people are on, until we've run out of questions. So we'll keep that going as long as we need to. We also run a private Facebook group for any emergencies or Q&A. If you have a question, you don't want to wait until the Wednesday night call, then by all means, you get onto the private Facebook group, ask the question, and I'll get back to you, usually within hours. You also get access to all the checklist templates, tools, articles, video lessons, everything we've thrown into that course for the Inventors Masterclass. It's all available to you at any time. You can just draw it down and use it. So the cost for this sounds phenomenal with all of that value built in, but it's actually quite reasonable. For 6 months, it'll cost you $5,000. And the reason why it's that, because we're only taking on 6 new parties every month. So it's very affordable. Now, if you wanted to, if $5,000 is a lot of money for you right now, you can look at 6 monthly payments of $1,000. So you're paying $6,000, it's still worth it if it flattens out your cash flow and you know you're going to hit your objective within 3 to 6 months. You're going to get that money. Access to that money is going to be fairly easy. So the beauty of all of this is there's no lock-in contracts. So if after 2 months you achieve your objective, you can walk away. I wouldn't think you would do that because obviously you then just reset for the next objective because you've got money in the bank to pay for it and you would keep going. The bonuses that we are going to include in this program are the Inventors Masterclass course. You can have a look at that at inventorsmasterclass.com and it's $1,995. You can sign up on that on its own if you like, but it's included in this. Also, the commercial modeling workshop, which we normally sell for $3,000, is available for you. If you wanted to jump on that on its own, you can do that, but you can also get it included in this course and you're only paying $1,000 a month. So our guarantee to you is simple. If you feel this isn't working for you at any time, you can opt out. Simple as that. There's no lock-in contracts. Once you reach your first transaction, then we're going to help you set the second transaction, which we've already mapped out in your commercial modeling workshop. So we know what it is. We pivot all of your tasking, we retask you, and you're heading off to the second one. So if your first one was a distribution agreement, that's well and good. You might now look for another territory to do another distribution agreement, or you might say, well, let's do a license for Scandinavian countries or anywhere in the EU or perhaps African countries or whatever. You set the agreement you're going to do and we then pivot to that within that 6 months. You can also choose at the end of the 6 months to extend on a rollover basis. So you can just go month by month. And if you do that, well and good, you can keep going and get all the other of your project built out as you go. And that's what we're counting on. And we know you can afford it because we've already raised you the money to do that. So if you're ready to make this happen, it's very simple. I want you to get your phone, open up your camera, and without taking a picture, just point it at this screen here. It's called a QR code. That will take you to our registration page, and you can go online. If you've got your credit card ready, you can register. It will cost you $1,000 to register. And then from there, if you wanted to pay the full $5,000, then you have to wait until I've contacted you because I want to talk to you first. This registration will guarantee you a seat in next month's workshop, but it will not guarantee, it'll guarantee your place if you're approved by me. If you're not approved, I'm sorry, we won't process your credit card and we'll let you know. Okay, but if you're not sure about any of this, you can book a call with me and have the chat beforehand. This is a different QR code, so you can take it, line your camera up with this one. That takes you directly to my calendar, and I will allocate you 10 minutes in the next 3 or 4 days. You can talk to me and we can make a time and we can lock it all in and get you what you need. Okay, thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you on the course.